Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Yashira. I know it's been a while since I've been on here, but with quarantine time, I mean, like, who doesn't have enough time? Maybe one of these days I'll record why I've been MIA for such a long time. But for today, let's jump into how I created this makeup para la sala look, meaning my makeup for the living room during this quarantine time. So here I am ready to get started, and I'm going to start with my eyebrows. I'm going to jump into the Brow Zing powder from Benefit, and the reason why I'm doing a powder is because I want it to look a little bit more natural and softer, not as harsh, especially since I am planning on doing a brighter color underneath the eyes. I don't want the brows to fully take over. So I'm slowly just building up that product, combing my brows upwards and away from the face. And then now I'm just using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz just to add a little bit more definition to my eyebrows. Nothing too crazy. It's not like I'm trying to fill in as much as I'm just trying to shape them out just a little bit more. Then I'm going in with a little bit of concealer. I'll leave all of the product detail down below so that you guys can find out what the products were that I used. But I'm using a little bit of concealer on my eyelids, and I'm basically using that as my primer for the eyeshadow that's coming up. And I'm using my beauty blender to kind of just blend it out all over and gently patting it. And then I'm going in with my Charlotte Tilbury powder in shade number 2. And then what I'm going to do with this powder is I'm going to use it to set all over that concealer that I just applied. So I want to make sure that I'm not really sweeping this across the lid. I really just want to use that to pat it in so that I'm creating a nice smooth base so that my eyeshadows evenly and smoothly transition when I go to apply them. Now I'm grabbing my Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette, and I'm going to start with one of the colors. Again, I'll keep it down below. I'm going to start with that color, and this is going to be technically my transitional color. So with this transitional color, I don't want the color to be too pigmented. I want it to be a little bit closer to my skin tone complexion. I just want this to be the color that I know I'm not going above when I'm creating the rest of my tones and colors. And then here I kind of zoomed in a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. And again, just kind of sweeping this all over, making sure that I'm not taking it all the way up to the arch of my brows. I'm still leaving a little bit of that space and just adding this color in there and just packing on that transitional color until I feel satisfied with it. Going back in and I'm grabbing another tone, and then this one I'm going to kind of sweep and pat all over the eyelid. With the look that I'm going for, I'm kind of wanting it to be more of a smooth, blurred out look versus like a harsh look. And you can see how I'm still packing on that color. And now I'm taking the brush that I used to apply my Charlotte Tilbury with to kind of just diffuse it a little bit more all over it out. Now back to the Anastasia palette. I'm kind of just taking this tone now and just applying it on the outer corner and then blending my way inwards. Now I'm back to that Anastasia palette, and I grabbed one of the shimmier shades, and I'm just using my finger, technically my ring finger, just to kind of apply and pat that on into place. It's going to make it a little bit easier for the colors to stick on. And again, I don't want anything harsh. I want everything to look very diffused. And then I'm going to grab my brush that I used in the beginning, and I'm going to diffuse a little bit of those colors together. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of a highlight underneath my brow bone. And I just love the way a good highlight looks underneath the brow. I love how it completely lifts up that eyebrow. And now I'm going in with my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood filter in the shade number 3. Now I love using this product on top of my makeup to give me a really nice glow, but I absolutely love using it underneath my makeup. I feel that it gives me such a soft, blurred, filtered type of appearance. It lives up to the hype, I promise. This is something everyone should own and have. And I'm just going to use my beauty blender just to diffuse this product on the skin. And you can use your fingers if you want to use your fingers. I personally just like blending it out with the Beauty Blender. I feel that it creates a softer appearance on the skin when I use it that way. And you can already tell, like, look at that. You can literally tell that it instantly gives your skin a beautiful glow. I sometimes just use concealer and this on my face. I don't do foundation. So that's a really great way of, creating a nice, soft, like, no makeup glowy look on yourself. And then I'm going in with the Milk Makeup, the Blur Foundation. I absolutely love this foundation. I love the way it feels. Just make sure you shake it before you use it so that way you're mixing everything up. I do 4 little tiny dots all over my face, and then I use my Real Techniques brush to kind of buff and diffuse it out on the skin. And I like to use small stippling motions when I'm first applying it. But I feel like this foundation has such beautiful coverage. It makes the skin look absolutely soft. It doesn't look cakey or heavy either, which is why I absolutely love it. And it gives me the perfect amount of coverage. I don't look for too much coverage in a foundation myself personally. So I just love that this one still looks natural while still making my skin look flawless. All over. Please do not forget your neck, girl. Do not forget your neck when you are doing this. You want to make sure that you are fully complete from the face to the neck to the chest. Finish. And look how beautiful it looks. I absolutely love this foundation and I love recommending it to people. My skin is definitely more on the like normal to dehydrated dry side. And this is more of a mattifying foundation, but I don't know if you can tell, the foundation definitely has this gorgeous, soft, like glowy look to it, which is why I love it. And now I'm going in with this brand new Rimmel eyeliner. They actually sent me this in Influencer, so I decided to try it out to see, if it was good or not. And I actually really, really loved it. It has more of a felt tip to it. And look how easy that was. And I like to make sure that when I am doing my liner, I'm doing small strokes. I'm not trying to do anything heavy or aggressive. I'm kind of letting the liner do the work for itself. And then when I get to the lash line, I like to just gently tap. If you tap the lash line, it'll create more of a softer look versus if you decide to draw all the way across. Now I'm going in with my Fenty concealer in shade number 300. And I don't like to apply the concealer all over in a triangle form. I kind of just focus it on the sides of my nose and underneath the eye area. And I pack up and build up the coverage there because I'm looking for a softer lift to my face. A little bit on the nose, on the chin, and then a little on the forehead. Then when I go to blend out the concealer, I'm going to use a brush to blend it out. I love the way a brush kind of blends everything, and I like to pat it into place. So typically this is where I need the most coverage. It's always, always, always on the inside of my face. I like to pat the coverage there and then slowly start using that brush to diffuse upwards. Now, when you're diffusing upwards, just always know, guys, that this will create width to the face. And for me specifically, I want to create, you could already tell, all that coverage gives me a lift instantly, creating a different shape to my face, which I absolutely love. And I didn't have to use so much product going upwards. So I covered what I needed and diffused the rest. Use my beauty blender at the end of everything to kind of really just marinate it all together from foundation to concealer, just making sure we are in a happy place together. I'm not really removing coverage as much as any excess product that might be there. But look how beautiful that concealer is. It works so good. I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury powder again with my Sephora 99 brush. And the powder number is shade 2. And I'm going to gently just pat this in the places that I want to kind of mattify a little bit and create a little bit more longevity. Now, this Charlotte Tilbury powder does have a little bit of coverage, so be wary and choose your colors correctly for yourself. So I love to use this color. I always go back with the Laura Mercier powder, which you'll see a little later, just to add more brightness. But this is my favorite because I feel like it really just blurs and smooths and keeps my makeup in place for me. And I just tap it. So now I'm using my beauty blender underneath my eyes to kind of open them up a little bit so I can use my NYX eyeliner for the inside of the eye. Now I'm using this to make sure that I'm aligning the inside of the eye and a little bit below the eye also. I like to use my beauty blender because I feel like I don't get my finger marks underneath my eye and I'm not disturbing the powder or the concealer that I already placed. Had it on the white eyeliner that I applied underneath my eye. And I'm just using a small little brush to apply it a little bit more detailed. Don't you just love the faces you make when you're applying something to the underneath eye area? You don't even want to see the ugly faces that I was making that I cropped out of this video. On. I'm going to take a small little detailed blending brush and I'm using that same exact tone and I'm just literally diffusing the color that I did. I don't want to have this weird harsh line underneath the eyes. I want to make sure that it's a little bit more diffused. Oh my God, I absolutely love the way this green turned out. Just the entire look in general. I haven't done my makeup since I've been home. I've been at home probably for like 17 to 18 days without stepping out of my house. So it felt really good to put on some makeup again, to really play with a little bit of makeup again. And it was really funny to be able to like sort of kind of catfish my husband because he was not expecting me to come downstairs with a look like this on when I literally been looking like who knows what type of ugliness. It out. Look at that green. It came out so beautiful. That Anastasia palette is super pigmented. I love it. I'm going in with the Anastasia Nicole Guerrero palette. I'm going to choose that really light one to do my inner corners with. I'm going to make sure that I spray a little bit of setting spray on it because I want it to come out more pigmented. And I'm just going to pat it on that inner corner. And look how blinged out that looks. It's incredible. Now I'm using a Sephora brush and I'm using the Fenty Truffle contour stick. I like to use it before I apply my bronzer when I'm trying to come up with like this really snatched look, you know. And just make sure you're dragging it upwards, not downwards on the face. Always starting at the highest point of the face. And then I'm going to do my forehead. I'm going to make sure that I am really packing it on where I need it the most. I love the warmth that this color gives to the skin. Personally feel that if you draw it on, it does tend to dry since the Fenty matchsticks do dry down to a matte finish. So I like using a brush to make sure that I'm maintaining that creaminess and consistency so it dries down blended versus having to work a lot harder later on to blend out all those lines that I created. Now your girl is going to make sure she's grabbing that jawline. Look how snatched that makes it look instantly. I love it. And this is the part that I was talking about. So I always take my Laura Mercier translucent powder. It's a lot lighter and sometimes can be too bright for my skin. But when I apply a little bit on top of my Charlotte Tilbury powder with the Beauty Blender, I love how it instantly brightens up my under eyes. I don't feel that it gives me a gray cast or that I look super dull underneath the eyes, which is why I love just applying a little bit and I won't wipe it off later. So I ensure that I'm only putting a little bit and using the Beauty Blender to pick up anything excess. And then I'm going in with my Fenty Bronzer and Caramel Cutie. And I'm going to pat it into place. The reason why I'm patting it first is because I want to ensure that I am not moving that bronzer contour that I first applied. So always pat on top of creams and liquids, and then you can diffuse afterwards. Guys, look how snatched the face looks already. I had so much fun creating this look. And I like to really take my bronzer and really kind of just apply it all over. Making sure that I grab that bronzer and I apply it down the neck also is super important just because you don't want to look super bronzy on the face. And I also like to take some additional bronzer and I like to smile and apply just a little small light layer on the cheeks before I apply my blush so I'm getting a softer look. And then I'm going in with the Bare Minerals blush. I believe I used 2 blushes in this video. I love doubling up on my blushes. And then I'm just kind of patting it and diffusing it. And now this Bare Minerals blush is more on the matter side. So I think that's why I ended up going in with the NARS blush, the Orgasm blush on top of this, just to give myself a little bit more luminosity. Always the nose, guys. I love applying blush on my nose. It is one of my favorite things to do. And I ensure that I'm applying that NARS Orgasm blush all over. And just look at that difference that it adds more of that glow onto the skin naturally. I don't even need a highlight, but I'm going to put a highlight on regardless. And I'm using the Smashbox setting spray. And I'm going to make sure I really generously apply this all over the place. And then I'm going to use that same highlighting palette from Anastasia. And I'm going to use a small blending brush from Sephora. I like to use smaller brushes. I have a wide face, so I don't like going in with very big brushes. So I like to use a smaller brush to get a little bit more detailed when it comes to where I like to apply my glow. I'm going to start on the highest points of my cheekbones then. And look at that glow. I mixed 2 colors together and it came out so beautiful. But the reason why is right here. I love using a smaller brush to really just grasp these small detailed areas to create more of that lift. And a little bit on the nose. Now I do like to apply it on the nose area, but you guys are going to see me pick up my beauty blender. I always make sure that I use my damp beauty blender just to diffuse a little bit of the highlight because I'm looking for a glow, but I don't want those streak marks all over my face. So I want to make sure I'm getting the most intense glow without too much pigment or heaviness on the skin. So the beauty blender will kind of allow to lift up any excess product that might just be sitting on the skin. Now back to my brows, I'm just applying a brow gel. I like to do this towards the ends because I like to make sure that the brow gel is picking up any excess products that might have gone on the eyebrows. And then I'm using the Makeup Forever lip liner in number 606 to align and define my lips. And then I remembered that I forgot to put my lashes on. So here's me applying my lashes. I'm just doing some simple basic ones. They're just the Ardell wispy lashes. And then I'm just grabbing this mascara from Rimmel. This was also included in my influencer box. So I decided to try it out today as well as that liner that I used previously. It worked really well. I mean, like, it didn't give me this gunky, heavy feeling on the eyes. And I didn't get any flaking throughout the day. So that was really nice. And I love the brush. I'm like a big brush girl. So then I'm going in with the Fenty Balm lip gloss. It's one of my favorite lip glosses, guys. I literally own like 5 of them. They're so good. And that's the completed look. I'm going to remove these crazy clips from my hair. And then that's it, guys. I hope you guys stay safe during this time. I know it's super scary, but no, we're all in the same place. Let's all be kind to each other. Stay home. Make sure we're doing everything the right way. But I hope you guys bared with me during this video. It's been a long time, so don't be judging me. But thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay kind, and leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought of this look and what you'd like to keep seeing. Bye.